Gen Z's view on gender and sexuality is getting out of control. We are doing too much. Some people identify as helicopters now, and we can't tell them they cannot.
But that is not a gender.
What are genders?
Cis men, cis women.
No, men, women. Then you can add whatever. I'm sure it's
cis men, cis women,
no.
trans men, trans women.
Okay, so if I identify as a trans werewolf, what are you going to say about that?
Do all Gen Zs think the same? These 6 Gen Zs will be tested with series of difficult questions, and they will be presented with a spectrum of options to choose from.
Gen Z, we've tied the word respect to worship. So once you tell a Gen Z person now that you have to respect this woman that is coming, they think you have to bow down.
I don't anybody for that respect though. You have to earn respect. It's the same way you earn someone's trust. A lot of old people are foolish.
OnlyFans is a valid career choice because 1, sex work is as old as man.
I think everybody should pick careers that actually add value to each and everyone. Just like saying, I'm a professional arm jobber. No, your career is not valuable.
Why do we need to see sex as a dirty work?
Because it's low effort.
It's not low effort.
It's low effort.
For 5 hours best.
Everybody
For 5 hours best if it's small work for 5 hours.
How will they confront their different points of view? Gen Z's view on gender and sexuality is getting out of control.
Of course, I'm the only red. I disagree with that because, first of all, one would think it's Gen Z that brought up the idea of gender and sexuality. That's not true. Trans people have always existed. I said in Africa, that was where they found the first trans person. I just think Gen Z are more open-minded. It's not valid, but I understand why people would say Gen Z are like doing so much with the entire thing.
I just agree. I understand some certain parts of sexuality. I understand gays, lesbians. Like, I actually get it. But when it comes to transgender, non-gender conforming, this one, like, there are some people that like their gender is to change every day. I'm a male, I'm a female tomorrow. Then sometimes I'm in between. Then they'll be like, a lesbian is a non-male. I'm like, what are you saying? What exactly are you saying? Like, if you actually want to understand the proper Gen Z's form of sexuality, it's going to take you a year. And when you now understand it finish, next year, there's a whole different gender that you have added to the equation. So I'm like, okay, this is madness and it's too much for me.
So I strongly agree because 1, people of different spectrums and, sexuality and belief largely have always existed. Why should I have an opinion on someone else's sexuality? How does it affect your life? I am Yoruba. I delve into Yoruba culture a lot, and if there is one thing I have learned, it is that the Yoruba language and culture in itself is very gender neutral. Yes, in English, I can say she is coming, or he is coming, or something, but in Yoruba, ombo, wombo. The fact that we even think that we should have an opinion on, gender preference of someone else is in itself a problem.
Sorry, I thought you said strongly agree.
Yes, I strongly agree that it is getting out of hand.
Your color is wrong.
Okay, I misunderstood the prompt and I would love to change my color.
How about it? Change it.
My name is Yusuf Alabi Balogun, PK Aramo Gemini. I'm a performance poet with a major focus in, Yoruba art, an author of a Yoruba novel, Segilola Romeo Gidon. I'm 23 years old and I'm based in Lagos. The Yoruba culture is actually very gender neutral. Even when it comes to, the Orishas, the Irumoles, when you go into the Ifa corpus, you do not see anyone telling you that, maybe Olodumare was a man, or Olodumare is a woman, or he's straight, or he's a lesbian, or whatsoever. I think there is a subtle acceptance of gender fluidity in the Yoruba culture that many may be very uncomfortable acknowledging, but if it's a yes or no question, I would say yes.
Gen Z's view on gender and sexuality is getting out of control. We are doing too much. Some people identify as helicopters now, and we can't tell them they cannot.
But
that's my issue.
Who identifies as helicopter?
Please, online, they identify as helicopter.
Yeah.
Some people identify as chimpanzees, some identify as wolves. I will not say I'm against some types of sexuality, but when it's too rampant and all over the place, it's just chaos. Come on. I would prefer if we keep it structured. Before it just used to be LG, then we became LGBT.
It has never been
LGBTQ. Please, you're just adding more letters.
It has never been LG.
You're adding too much letters.
It has never been LG.
I'm confused. My name is King Dominator. I am a creative director and I'm 24 years old. I'm Gen Z. The quote-unquote group of people who are pushing this forward, they don't really have like a full stop or a line. And honestly, it's actually getting really crazy. I'm seeing people identifying as chickens and wolves and whatnot. And we can't tell them no because we're going to be close-minded or not woke. Honestly, I'm so confused at this point. I don't know who even gets to draw the line. That's what the issue. I believe there should definitely be a line. But who gets to draw it? That's up for debate.
In the 90s, I can't remember her name. I just fucked up on live camera, but please, my trans sisters, please forgive me, I'm begging. But yeah, and the prompt says gender and sexuality. Identifying as an helicopter is not a gender. Identifying as a
no one identifies as a
gender.
What are genders?
Okay, so we have cis men, cis women.
No. Men, women, then you can add whatever. I'm sure it's
cis men,
well, not cis
women,
no.
trans men, trans women, non-binary. That's non-binary, thank you, by the way. Trans max, trans femme.
Okay, so if I identify as a trans werewolf, what are you going to say about that?
Trans
you tell me I'm not a werewolf.
So now, the fact that you had to make that point, that is just you now being queerphobic.
How is that queerphobic?
Because you are downplaying it.
I'm not some people genuinely believe they are werewolves.
That's the point, because they are downplaying it.
Have you heard of neopronouns?
Have you
heard of neopronouns?
Yes.
They actually believe they are wolves.
No, that's not the meaning. That's not the meaning of neopronouns.
I believe you are transphobic, actually.
I'm a trans person. There's no way I'm transphobic.
When you have an issue with something, your next move is to downplay it.
Yes.
And that's why you are saying trans werewolf.
I feel like you actually, you're pointing fingers, but your other fingers are pointing back to you.
That's because I would point fingers because it is valid for me to point fingers.
No, you're not agreeing with yourself,
because,
actually.
No.
At the end of the day.
You cannot say somebody's identified as a trans wolf. Why? First of all, wolves do not even exist.
That means you are literally doing exactly what
and I am telling you now.
I identify as a wolf. Why can you tell me I cannot identify as a wolf?
I'm not saying you cannot identify as a wolf. I don't have the power to tell. I specifically do not care.
Okay.
Now my issue now is you are using that point to downplay my own point.
Why do you feel like what if I'm not? What if that's truly my?
Do you understand how communication works?
I do.
There is feedback in communication.
I'm listening to you.
And that is my feedback to you.
And I give my own feedback.
I'm saying something, and then you counter me with, people identify as trans wolf. And I said no. And then you went back to neopronouns, which in the sense, neopronouns work for people that they do not feel like the entire he, him, she, they works for them.
Okay.
And then you can't, so neopronouns, some people use their name as their pronouns. You don't have to call them she. Just instead of she, put their name there.
The prompt technically is Gen Z is doing too much when it comes to gender. That's the prompt.
Exactly.
We are doing too much, and I agree, we are doing too much. And I'm telling you, some people are identifying out wolves, and you're telling me I cannot. Can you see how you're contradicting?
Give me the proof.
No, I don't feel like I was being judgmental. I believe he wasn't really following what he was preaching in a way, because when I was trying to draw a line, I was trying to get him to draw a line, but he was actually now struggling to draw a line when I mentioned I was a trans werewolf, and he was actually putting a line there. And I was like, you can't put a line because I'm not putting a line for you, so why are you putting a line for me? And are you trying to discredit people who identify as trans werewolves? So I was just testing him out to see if he would draw a line, and he did. So he was really breaking his own rules.
Pause. You've been watching us for so long and you're still not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button, get us to 200K. Now, let's get back into the video.
I somewhat disagree. Not all of us have claimed the identity, right? So meaning there are still some people that have not gone extreme with
It's not mandatory.
And yes, it's not mandatory. So that's why I somewhat disagree.
I agree that I think we are doing too much. For example, abroad, right, there are cases where children feel confused, right, at an early age. At an early age, I was a tomboy. I'm not saying that necessarily means that, all of a sudden I would identify as something else. I think there's definitely a lot to this. And it's not minimizing anyone's experience at all, because I think as a whole, we can disagree, but at the same time, some people might go through a tough time in this topic.
My question is, where do we draw the line?
Draw which line?
Why are you drawing line?
Because people are identifying as wolves.
Where is the people
Who identifying as wolf?
Show me the proof.
Should I bring out TikTok?
Yes,
People
show me now,
identify
please.
as orangutan.
Show me the proof.
And I cannot tell them it is weird.
Show me the proof.
My point is, we are doing too much. It's like there has to be a line. We have to say, okay, this is where it stops. It's enough.
I really wish people would.
And I feel like I feel like the community is growing too fast. That we're not
Queer
taking
people.
enough time to test and understand.
I really
this
wish
is well.
people would take channel this energy of queer people.
No.
You channel it to rapists. You channel it to pedophiles. And then you channel it to your politician, not queer people, because they're literally not harming anybody.
Now you say, you're calling me a cis woman. I'm not a cis woman. Why are you calling me a cis woman?
My name is Suki. I'm 22. I do a lot of things. I can't put my hand on something, but like entertainment basically. The only reason they felt like me saying cis women is wrong is because they feel like being trans is a slow. Because at the end of it, what's the meaning of cis? It just means like you were assigned this gender at birth, and that is what you are identifying as. We fight men for misogyny, but then cis women will turn around and do transphobia for trans women. The same way racism happened. White people are racist to black people, and then black people will be homophobic to queer people. So it's like, expected.
Some people can argue that you're harming people by getting children to cut off their genitals at a very young age. Is that not harm?
And also making
If
me
you chop off
memorize
your
your
genital,
pronouns
just a question.
every 2
Just a
days.
question.
Like, I don't
Just
do
a
that.
question.
That could be argued
Just
as
a
harm.
question.
Who is cutting off their genitals?
In the abroad, they are.
Do you know how much gender reassessment surgery costs?
Some people are cutting off their genitals.
I just say at the end of the day that this whole conversation of gender and sexuality is as old as man. And the problem we have in this present generation is that we feel that we should judge and we should have a thought on every process. Live and let live. These people are not harming you. If we exert the level of energy we exert on queer people, on Nigerian politicians, Nigeria would be better. We're having the wrong conversation.
God bless you for me.
So when you say that live and let live, like I'm going to let you be, but also let me be too, because you want your rights. You're trying to encroach mine. You're
Also,
trying to like make me refer you as a certain thing that I don't really understand.
If I am a queer
and
person,
also, like you
if I
come
am
to
a
me
queer
today.
person, how did I not let you leave?
Yusuf, you come to me today. You tell me that I'm a man, and from now on I'm a female, and from now on my pronoun is she.
That's
then you
the
come to
problem
me
of social
tomorrow
media.
and you say that
Social media,
sometimes I'm a
yeah.
female, sometimes I'm a male, and then my pronoun is they. Then you come to me and be like, no, them, and then you come to me again. Then she, her, he, them, and I'm supposed to memorize all this because I'm what? You're the only one I have in my life.
Are you exaggerating or there's actually a case study to this?
You people are so fluid. Like
Who
today,
came for you and said that he is he today and tomorrow
come
she?
to me now because I'm really like
Yes, they
but
did
you're
not
on
come
the
to you.
internet. You're on the
okay,
internet.
thank you. The internet is a public space. You realize
so
that.
you can have your opinions about your life, and you think I should not have my own opinions too. So my name is Obona Princess Adane. I'm a businesswoman, creative director at Classy Shades. I'm 25 years. I hail from Abia State, but I've lived in Lagos all my life. I would say I used to be homophobic when I was small, based on religion. But like when I read a book and like main character was like a lesbian, I got to really understand where she's coming from. So I think I understand gays and lesbians. I don't think they were born that way. I actually feel things will influence you. As for the transgenders, I believe they're confused. That's like me saying it in a very, very polite way because I could link it to madness, but I'm like, okay, this is just confusion. So it's not as if I'm being disrespectful per se. Obviously, I shouldn't be vile, but if I say, I don't understand what this thing you're doing, don't come for me. Like, you should be the bigger person and be like, okay, you don't understand me, that's fine. But don't say okay, you can say I'm transphobic, I agree. But like, I don't understand them. I draw the line for my sanity. Someone more mad like them.
Gen Zs should stop complaining. The older generations had it worse.
Since I'm the one on agree, let me put myself out
You
there.
hate Gen Z, no.
No. So here's the thing. I'm just one step away from strongly agree because of inflation. Like, come on, Indomie is 500. I heard that. It's hurting me. But here's the thing. Internet. Do you understand that internet has given us so much opportunity? I'm currently running a business and I tell you that ChatGPT has like done so much for me. I feel if our parents had that, they would have achieved way more. If you have access to data, you can do so much in your room. These are people that trekked to go to school in another neighborhood, and they still came out okay. And now Gen Zs were complaining about what? That, oh my God, the sun is too much. Oh my God, I have to hop inside a bus to go to work. Is that what you're complaining about? People had it far worse. Do you understand? So don't complain. Do the work. Do the work.
Seeing the older generation had it tougher. I feel like that person or the girl was a Nepo baby, honestly. Like, maybe your reality was way different than mine, but I don't really feel like we had it easier than the older generation. Did anybody ever see the government provide them water in their house when they were young? Nobody. Did anybody ever see Naira less than 10 Naira to $1?
No.
Nobody. Did anybody ever go to nursery school or primary school for free?
No.
Nobody.
There are still schools for free now, if you want to go to them.
Are you sure you are Gen Z? Are you sure? I'm suspecting you.
These people had all these amenities. It was given to them. The rules were very fresh in their era. Every amenity was provided for them. They had it very, very easy. And it was a generation that just started the corruption. We have it way, way worse.
So I somewhat agree because I feel like both sides felt the pain and enjoyed at the same time. They will tell us stories about how they had to climb mountains to get to their school. I don't know if it was social, that one concerned them. Well, cars weren't as common. If they had to do their assignments, they actually had to do the research. You see them, we have access to internet, let's not lie. These things are actually enjoyable and they've made living easier. We now have to suffer the trauma of this whole, sorry, let me not say anything to, but basically you get, no, I didn't mean it like that. I said this whole,
I did not even understand what I was trying to say, but the way you said everyone said it like that. For me, I expected it. I mean, we're in Nigeria. Well, you know what? So I have this thing where I expect the worst from humans. Like, there's nothing that wants to happen to me now that has not happened to me before. And there's nothing that you want to say to me that me, I have not told myself and I have not heard.
I meant the whole gender neutrality. Now, you see how we're arguing about, that's what I mean. Then it wasn't, they hid these things basically, right? But we're open to it. So I won't say our problems were as big as theirs, but I believe we suffered. They did too, and yeah.
I think when it comes to the struggles, there is no competition. I wouldn't say Gen Z should stop complaining. I think we actually need to speak up for a lot of things. Like we have so many things, like for example, women's rights. We need to talk about that. We need to talk about that because that's something that a lot of our parents didn't get the opportunity or a lot of them didn't feel safe enough to talk about. And I think it is... Exactly. So I think, should we stop complaining? Absolutely not. Do we have it easier? I don't think so either.
Back then, our parents did not have access to internet. Fine. Every new advent comes a new problem. I have access to internet. No be money I go use buy data. MTN just increase data price now. Okay, when I can't get money buy the data again, network no go come good. They have their own hardships, which is valid, and I do not in any way erase it. But the fact that we should stop complaining, probably because they did not complain so much, is problematic. Some of our parents grew up being depressed, but they never expressed it. You will just see your father waking up 5 a.m., 6 a.m. He will sit in front of the house. He will be looking. You will be telling him A, he will be telling you C, because they don't express. They don't talk about it. If there is anyone who is complaining, who is expressing, please let them express. Let them complain. It might be the only route to, minimal salvation that person have. The question is, when we are done complaining, do we go back to work or we sleep in bed? No, we still go back to do our work. But do we have to complain? How will I spend 6 hours in traffic and I will get back home and there's no food and there's no light? And you tell me not to complain. I'll complain now. If my parents too, if the internet, all of these things existed in their generations, they would equally complain.
I strongly disagree as usual. I don't think Gen Z should ever stop complaining.
Exactly.
I think if anything, Gen Zs have shed light to so many things. Unhappy marriage. Secondly, depression, mental health issues, and all of that.
I know you may be talking about from Nigerian's point of view, because Nigeria have been moving backward. When you are going to Gen Zs in other countries, they have it better. Do you think our parents that trekked to 30 minutes to school?
My dad had a car.
Wait now, calm down. That's why I'm saying older generations had it worse. Do you understand? And someone is talking about marital issues and all that. During the older generations, your husband will beat you. You will report to the community leader, and the community leader will ask you, what did you do to the man?
It is still happening these days.
Okay, so I really learned a lot from they that strongly disagreed. So based off the things they said, I'm going to also join.
I love you. I love
Thank you, John. Let's go.
Why are you
I
changing?
feel like the points they made were very valid, and they brought proof. They brought like their stories, instances, everything was strong. So if I learn, I'll learn.
how changing happens is just like exactly influence. They're influencing that decision, making her
Or-
go into the wrong. Yeah,
Or she's just
being
evolving and
no,
learning.
you're being influenced by people that want to have it easy.
We do not even have to compare whether, the older generation had it worse or we had it worse, because honestly, if we existed in their generation and they existed in our generation, they would also be complaining.
I understand if a Nigerian youth thinks he's having it harder. Like the country is like not moving the way it's supposed to move. But like in general, the Gen Z, I think we're like the most blessed generation. This is the generation I know that you could just wake up and go into a new career and get almost all the information for free. Do they know the amount of gatekeeping that our parents had to go through? Most people had to do this whole Nwa boy for 7 years to actually learn something that they could have learned on YouTube for like 2 days. We definitely have it better. Tell every single one of them if they want to be born 100 years ago. They will not.
Mental health and therapy culture is making Gen Zs emotionally weak.
Songo, Lukoso.
Everybody ready?
I'm orange, I'm not red.
What? And I told you I love you.
I somewhat disagree because I believe this same mental health that we're saying that we're exaggerating, this same mental health made us open up. Imagine how they were telling our mothers, our fathers in those days that you are exaggerating it. So imagine we didn't exaggerate it like that. A lot of things that were in our mind, we wouldn't have voiced it out. We've shaken mountains, or how did they say? We've tried.
We tried for the world.
We tried. So I don't think we exaggerated it. If we didn't exaggerate, we needed to exaggerate a bit for us to make a change. Yeah. I'm Priska Eliezer Uchechi Okonkwo. I am Igbo. I'm from Imo State. I am an influencer, a social media manager, a model, and an entrepreneur. I sell sneakers online. I am a serious advocate for mental health. I've been around people that struggled seriously with mental health, same as myself here. The reason why I somewhat disagreed and everybody strongly disagreed was some people still use it as an excuse. I still see that, like, they don't know what it's about. You just want to use it to escape. Oh, my mental health. You don't know. You actually don't know let's focus on the ones that actually have serious mental health issues, basically.
Mental health is like very, very important. And I think that's something that the older generations did not really understand. They just felt physical health and all that. You see someone that is physically strong, but like that person is mad upstairs or crazy upstairs or weak upstairs. Some people see that when you're going to therapy, it's like, are you mad? What is wrong with you? Why are you going to therapy? But like sometimes it's just best to like just have a professional opinion on your issues.
I feel like a lot of the madness we're seeing with the older generation is actually just...
Can we stop addressing mental health issues as madness and like, please, hey Joe?
What's madness now?
It's not.
My point is, I feel like a lot of the mental health issues we saw with the older generation had to do with mental health issues. It doesn't make any sense me saying like that, but imagine having those teachers back then that they were just very difficult. A lot of the times, what was also to them is just mental health issues that were probably not addressed. And I'm really proud of my own generation for addressing all these issues and talking about it.
I'm so glad we're at a place where we can actually see vulnerability as a good thing. I remember being a child, always feeling like it was a weak thing to actually say, oh, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling this particular kind of way. Before we thought, oh, a mad person was a person that walked on the street naked. That's not necessarily the case. I think in Nigeria, there are a lot of people exhibiting so many things that need to be checked out. So I think it's something that's important. Hello, my name is Winnie, and I'm a fashion designer and 3D artist. I'm 27, and I am from Bayelsa State. I was a kid that, when I was younger, I used to cry a lot. People, deemed me as the person like, oh, you're too sensitive. And I think that definitely played a major role on my mental health. Especially as the first daughter in a Nigerian home, I think the expectations for you to also grow up as this strong person that would carry everyone else along, that definitely played a part on me. Now, as an adult, mental health is a very, very, very important thing for me. I'm still kind of sensitive, but at the same time, I see the need to ask for help when I need to.
So I feel that the existence of therapy and the fact that people can actually go in search of therapy has actually saved more people in this generation, the millennials. There were so many cases of suicide that were either swept under the carpet or that was misconstrued as assassin, affliction. Oh, it is somebody in the village enchanted the person, and then, the person decided to take a knife and stab himself. No. Sometimes it's not even preferring solution. Sometimes I just want to rant. I just want to vent. I just want you to listen to me and acknowledge that vulnerability. It is healing.
I strongly disagree because Gen Z has brought so much light to the idea and concept of mental health and therapy. Therapy has always existed, but rich people love to gatekeep, and they have been gatekeeping the idea of and concept of therapy since the beginning of time. I even feel like everybody should have access to therapy. If you are struggling with mental health or not, you should be in therapy. I have lived with so many old people, and I have noticed the pattern that most of them, they have traits of OCD, but they don't know. They think waking up in the midnight and rearranging your room is a normal. Baby, you have OCD, please don't. So the concept that, Gen Z are doing too much with therapy, nah.
OnlyFans and sex work is a valid career choice.
I somewhat agree in the sense that prostitution has always been existing since. It's the oldest profession, in fact. Giving it a platform and controlling it to a degree would actually help whoever is involved in the activity or service. While I believe it's not a respectable service because it's kind of like a low skill, anybody can have sex, I still believe being forward about it and putting it in a controlled environment makes it safer for anyone involved. People will still do whatever they choose to do. And we can either let them do it in a very unsafe environment that would end up affecting everybody, or we let them do it in a controlled environment, which I believe is generally safer. Like we've seen scenarios in which men are pimping women, sex slaves, all this stuff. It can be really, really dangerous.
I chose to somewhat agree. Like I'm taking out my emotions, my feelings about it, my religion, just logic. If it's going to pay you and you want to do it, then do it, just like any other career.
I strongly agree that OnlyFans is a valid career choice because one, sex work is as old as man. The idea of talking down on sex work and all that has to do with OnlyFans, I think it stems from a place of thinking we have a right on what other people choose to do with their body. OnlyFans, sex work is not harming anybody. It's a transaction. If people do not patronize sex workers, they will run out of, service.
They have markets.
And I say it every time, I would happily patronize a sex worker than find a lady on the road and assault her.
Sex is transaction. It doesn't have to be money. If you are married to somebody, marriage itself is a transactional deal. Something is happening. Sex work is even so great that it has enlightened some people about their sexuality, their self. You figure out what you like. You see it. Do you actually like this thing? And then another thing, you are helping people.
Yes.
You are supporting somebody's business.
I'm not a religious person like that. But for me, it's the influence. You see girls now, they'll go and start doing OnlyFans and then they're buying cars, this, that, and everybody's like, okay, I want to do that. But if everybody's doing OnlyFans, do you think this society is going to be a valuable one? I think everybody should pick careers that actually add value to each and everyone. Do you understand? Just like saying, I'm a professional arm jobber. No, your career is not valuable. Do you understand? I know you say that sex workers are not harming anybody, but they're actually influencing the generations, the younger generations to make decisions that will not really favor us at large. Do you understand? These are people that could have been doctors, lawyers, visible careers, but they're deciding to showcase their body and get paid for it. I know you're going to say that, okay, what's my business? Where's my business? Because I'm looking at them and I don't want my daughter. I don't want my daughter.
That is not it actually. I believe that we are all adults. If I see someone posting his penis on Twitter as an adult, and then I now go on Twitter.
Are you going on Twitter? Twitter is
chillax. If I see someone posting his penis on Twitter, chillax. We are all adults. You do what you want to do.
How is it harming you? Indirect harm.
No, the reason why you think it is harming you.
The young people
the reason why you think it is harming you is because one, you feel like you have an opinion on what is valid work and what is not valid work.
So I know OnlyFans originally, from what I heard, it was made for so many different things. There were people who were going on there and actually singing. But I think 2020 was normalized for corn, right?
They'll just call it porn.
Porn, Jay, give me
I'm sorry, I'm chronically online.
I'm not trying to run away from Elon Musk, but in real life.
We talked about, it's not harming anybody. But when we look at what this actually does to the people involved, I'm not even talking about the society, the people that are watching. It's almost like someone says, oh, I have a knife and I want to maybe end myself. And you're saying, oh, let me look for a way for you to safely do that.
What about alcohol? Alcohol harms society.
Okay.
I mean, that's
platforms to make it
subjective.
safer
I
for
think
Winnie, yeah.
So why is sex any different?
So I strongly agree because OnlyFans were created basically to like help mostly celebrities connect with their fans on a
Personally.
exactly. Fast forward to lockdown, sex work became a thing. I love sex work. Just putting it out today. Because like the only issue I necessarily have with sex work is that it is unsafe for the person doing it most of the time. Because like you can go for a job and then you get killed. But like OnlyFans has done it in a way that it has reduced that. Like the pornography industry, aside like making content and posting it on OnlyFans, is horrible. Let's use Maya Khalifa as an example. Most of the porn she was in, allegedly, it was not consensual. But like she was in it. She doesn't even have up to like 20 videos. And like now that she's doing jewelry and like all of that, and then she has like an established business, people are still saying, oh, you are a porn actress, you are a this. Why do we need to see sex as a dirty work?
Because it's low effort.
Exactly.
It's not low effort.
It's low effort.
For 5 hours first.
Everybody has
For 5 hours first, if it's small work, for 5 hours.
It's actually low effort.
For 5 hours
So,
first. Saying sex work is low effort is triggering because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're working for free. Somebody is working for money. Who lose? Not me. People that do sex work, and most of them are not even enjoying the sex. It's a job. Do you enjoy your job? Not exactly, but you are doing it because you have to survive.
I believe the lawyer will always be valued than the OnlyFans model.
Fine, agreed, no problem. Do you know that porn as a whole, that's a film. I'm a film student. Porn is an entire film. Because you people watch 365 days. People watch Game of Thrones, people watch Spartacus, people were tweeting about it the entire time. Oh my God, I can't wait for them to have sex. Now they are doing porn. Everybody is saying there's no
force need.
Let's not say that people are doing OnlyFans because they actually care about it, they love it. People are just doing it because of money. And if the society keeps saying it's okay to do things that you know is kind of degrading because of money, the negative impact is that you see so many, like when you want to date a guy, the guy is like, how much? Because he has seen it that ladies are ready to do crazy things because of money. So here's the thing, you can't justify selling yourself for money, and then when you see misogynistic people trying to like say that every lady can be bought, and you're like, why? Because he has seen it happen. And I feel OnlyFans, most people, they are saying, they're doing OnlyFans because they are broke, they didn't grow up rich, this, that, but you can do so many other things instead of degrading yourself and degrading the entire gender.
How do you
I feel
define what is
it's negatively impacting me.
Why?
That's it.
I feel like your points were made from a place of misogyny. That's internalized misogyny.
And judgment.
Saying I'm a misogynist or borderline, or I don't even understand where it's coming from. Being a female means you should actually hold yourself in high regards. I feel OnlyFans would definitely have a negative impact in the way the average man sees me. That's just it. It's not like I'm saying that females, they shouldn't do what they want to do.
From where I stand, because I'm chronically online, she gave off someone that is chronically on Banger Boy Twitter, which is basically face of misogyny. I have more than 500 of my mutuals now.
I said,
there are women are currently in old school Africa.
If they were doing sex work, how would they be in old school Africa?
Last,
can't do both.
being a sex worker is better than being a Nigerian politician.
It's better, please.
God bless you.
And it's better than so many things. We need to stop putting morals on women. It's not fair.
If everybody is doing OnlyFans, who is going to be the nurse? Who is going to be the doctor? Who's going to be the lawyer? And everybody that is saying, they're just doing it because that's what they believe in. Nah, they're doing it because it's an easy way to make money.
Respect for elders should be earned, not given based on age.
I think there's two things here. I think there's respect and honor. I think you honor an elder based on maybe their influence in society or what they stand, what they represent. But when it comes to respect, obviously, people have to earn that. I think it's based on what you do. I think there are a lot of politicians who, I'm not going to mention names, who automatically think that because they're an elder, I'm not doing that. I think not just politicians, a lot of people who think just because they're elders, they need all the respect. Elders sometimes don't necessarily know what's up for this generation.
I somewhat agree because one, I think it's basic human decency to respect anyone you encounter, whether a young person, whether an old person, as long as it's a human. Honor that person, give that person that initial respect. Now, if their actions, if their norms goes against the idea of, what is ethical, what should be the standard, please strip off that robe of respect. We need to first understand that one, age does not equate to wisdom. Someone who is 10 years old can be wiser than someone who is 30 years old. You can meet a 80 years old man on the road and ask him for a word of advice, and then at the end of the day, he end up saying something stupid because he grew up being stupid. If an older man is a pedophile, call him a pedophile, put it to his face. Someone can have gray hairs and still be an idiot.
I feel respect shouldn't just be based on the age factor alone. Obviously, if you're my boss, I'm going to respect you, even if you're younger than I am, because of your position. If I'm dating you, I'm going to respect you because you're my partner. I feel you should actually be respectful. But don't just say, oh, because this person is older than me, I should respect this person. Like, some time ago, this market woman was very disrespectful to me. And she was like, way older than I am. I was like, if I see my mind now, everybody's going to turn against me. But you're not seeing that this woman said something very, very stupid. Do you understand? So I feel in some cases, respect should not just be on age alone. Like when you see someone that is a fool at 40, tell him, you're 40, but you're a fool. And sometimes when you are old and you're foolish, you should emphasize it so they will know that, okay, I did something stupid.
So I somewhat agree because Gen Z, we've tied the word respect to worship. So once you tell a Gen Z person now that you have to respect this woman that is coming, they think you have to bow down. But no, respect is what they've been teaching us since we're in primary school. And the idea of respect is to just acknowledge a person's opinion, religion. They've always told us to accept everybody, right? Not to discriminate.
You can't tie it to Gen Z then.
I chose strongly agree because I don't owe anybody for that respect though. I'm sorry. And I don't owe you respect doesn't mean that I will disrespect you. I can avoid you. I can greet you, but that doesn't mean I respect you. You have to earn respect. It's the same way you earn someone's trust. If I don't know you, if I don't know your stance on things I agree or disagree with, I cannot respect you.
So basically, anybody that doesn't share the same opinion with you, you're against them. Is that what you said? No, sorry, I was just asking him.
No, not necessarily. No, not that. Okay. It's just a lot of old people are foolish.
So my issue with the elders is just that they place themselves here and place us here when it comes to respect. It's a one-sided journey. That's just my only issue. But I believe you should actually go both ways. And when you tell them that they should respect you, they feel like we are insulting them or are putting us on the same level. And that's just the general issue.
If someone says something that's off, an elder says something that's off, I would respectfully disagree to them. So it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, you're this, you're that. I would still put that person at a place of honor.
So we need to know that, save for exceptions, someone cannot disrespect you except you have first, initially, disrespected yourself. There is a Yoruba parlance that says that when an elder ties a corn to his buttock, it becomes a playmate with the chicken. If you have a male boss here, you respect him, you honor him, until the day he starts touching you. Then you are moved, you are pressured to, say something caustic or act in a way. So there's every tendency that if he did not start, touching you inappropriately, that honor would still have been there. So yes, if you respect yourself, I will respect you. And if you disrespect yourself, I will disrespect you.
I am afraid Gen Zs may not be able to lead tomorrow.
So I'm on somewhat disagree because I'm actually afraid anybody can lead. Like anybody that is not me can lead because I don't trust people in power. I don't trust anybody. So I don't think it's just peculiar to Gen Z. I won't want to say we have the weaker morals, but I have trust issues with everybody safe. So even if my grandfather wants to lead, I'm like, I don't trust you. That's it.
Or why I feel we may not be able to lead like that is because I believe we don't really have it in us to do some terrible things these older generations did to lead. Truly.
What do you mean by terrible?
You'd be surprised what people have done to be in places of power.
But do you think we need to do those things in order to lead?
No.
There will always be bad
But
people.
there are some things you have to do that you cannot compromise on. Like, look at the issue of gender. Who is going to solve this issue? See how we argued about gender for hours. That was like the longest prompt we argued on. Who's going to solve it? There's some things that if the older generation will tell you no, and it's no. I really believe in our ability to lead, of course, but I feel like there may be some scenarios in which the older generation might be able to take without thinking too much about it. I feel like we might struggle and argue and debate about a lot of things, and during the process, a whole lot of chaos and a lot of probably bad things have happened. In as much as we are progressive, our progressiveness can be a problem in some situations.
I chose somewhat agree, but really, deep down in me, I'm the most confused person here presently. I am not a fan of Nigerian politicians. I'm not a fan of the older generation. But you see this conversation of not too young to rule, I feel like even we just make person SUG president lásán ó ti kówó jẹ ní university kámá àti sọ pé ó ti dépò presidency they would abuse things. Maybe there are exceptions, but I feel like what we think was bad, what we think this older generation did as politicians are wrong. I feel we are actually capable of doing worse, and we're actually doing worse things already.
So I strongly disagree, because I believe we took a step forward and took 2 steps back. What were all the protests for if this is our thought here now? All those protests for the youths being outside. We don't... to say that in your whole generation, you don't think anybody can lead.
I did not say anybody.
They said Gen Z can...
I said
They said
some.
May, right? May. Yes,
I'm
May.
not generalizing. We can lead, but can we lead well? As much as the older politicians did things to sabotage the NSAS protest, we, the youths that were involved, some of us too, actually still did some silly things.
Just to round my point, basically, I believe Gen Z has the potential to lead in the future. Yeah.
The direction that they're leading us now, there are people that if they give them the power to lead, the country would be better. We can all agree on that for a fact. Yeah. Same way with Gen Z. But now, here is where it gets tricky. Nigeria as a concept was built on tribalism and classism. So there is no way you are expecting a Gen Z not to be not be tribalistic, because like it's a bad thing. No, I know I'm not. I'm not even about to say I'm not tribalistic, because please, I'm not. But that's not the point. That's not the point right now. That's what we're here to talk about.
Whether we feel that Gen Zs have the capability to lead or not, we will eventually lead. But can we lead well? I say it every time that evil is not gender-based. Evil is not based on religion. Evil is not based on where you come from or which generation you belong to. At the end of the day, evil is based on, which side of you chose to be dominant.
It has opened my eyes that we're not all the same or all in the same brackets. We actually do have different opinions on different situations, which I actually do respect, and I'm happy we can still stick with each other even though we have our differences.
If I could say one thing to Generation Z, it would be, we don't have to be the best generation. We can leave room for others, but we can be better than the previous generation.
I would definitely say that our generation is like one of the most privileged. I think we have so much information at our fingertips.
I would say Gen Z should actually keep fighting and being forward about what we want and the change we're hoping to make in the world. Because at the end of the day, at some point in this life, it will just be us being in those positions of leadership, and I believe we should put in effort to make those changes we say we want to make.
And I would also want to say that sometimes when you see someone doing something, it might not directly affect you, but look at the big picture. Because if you're trying to be too liberal, you might be playing with the future of your kids.
Understand your purpose on this earth. Live with one another. Try to, listen to people. Try to understand people, and also try to care for one another. Because we're society in the end. We're people.
We are come to the end of the show. We want you guys to just greet each other, just to be sure that there's no bad blood.
It's bad blood.
There's bad blood with you.
You traitors.
Who traitors?
Traitors, right?
No.
There's definitely bad blood.
I don't understand the question. I said question.
There's bad blood.
Hey, you called me misogynist.
No.
Yes.
I said.
My God, you had